So with Liverpool looking like they're a lot more solid and a lot more cohesive with largely the same lineup as last season, do we think it's time that Slot's going to go back to pretty much the same team as last season for at least the most parts that he can, to get some rigidity and some solidity back into the lineup? I thought we played really well against Aston Villa in general, although we did concede a few chances early on, as we always seem to do recently. But overall, I think the team just seemed a lot more cohesive and just working a lot better together. The link-ups looked a lot more fluid and solid, with basically the same team as last season. Obviously, we lost Díaz and we lost Núñez, and we also tragically lost Jota as well. But for large parts, the team was pretty much the same team as last season, and we looked a lot more cohesive for it. I thought Robertson looked really good at left-back, a lot less frantic than Kerkez has been. Bradley, I thought, looked a lot more assured. Konaté looked a lot better this game, although he has been costing us, in my opinion, a goal a game this season. But in general, I think the back four looked a lot more solid with Robertson in it. Obviously, Mohamed got in there to do a job, but you would expect Alisson to be playing if he wasn't injured, although he looks like he's going to be back soon. But apart from that, pretty much across the board, the only new player in the lineup was Ekitike, because of obviously Núñez, Díaz and Jota not being available anymore and not at the club. So very, very interesting. And I think we definitely started to look like we were getting a bit more of that football that we were so used to seeing last season. A bit more confidence in the lineup. The passing was a bit sharper. Everyone looked like they had a bit more of an idea of what they were doing. I thought Szoboszlai looked really, really good in that midfield role. I think that number 10 role really suits him down to a T. He's not your conventional number 10, but the way that his running just gets him about the pitch, he's literally everywhere all the time. The amount of times he'll press onto the back four, but then he's also running back into the midfield to break up counter-attacks, to break up players running through the lines. He did it a few times against Villa, and I just thought he looked so imperious on the ball as well. Just in general, that McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai midfield looks really, really solid. Really, really good. I think that's probably what won us the league last season, if I'm being honest. All the other players, obviously, they've all got their parts to play. Van Dijk was obviously an absolute colossus last season. Salah was obviously unbeatable, really, in terms of the numbers that he provided. But I think overall, the solidity and also the flexibility and just the general cohesion that middle three, McAllister, Gravenberch and Szoboszlai, gave us, I thought it was absolutely incredible. And it's definitely something that I would not deviate from going forward for the foreseeable future, unless we bring someone in who's maybe a little bit more of like a Adam Wharton type profile that could play in there as potentially one of those midfield three. Someone who's just got that real like classiness on the ball, but also good at breaking up the play in a similar way to Gravenberch. But overall, I think that's probably the reason that we did so well against Villa, is that those three were playing and they were actually looking like they were getting back to their best. Obviously, we did play that midfield against Man United and we did lose that game. But we had so many chances, didn't we? And I still didn't think we looked that open against Man United. Obviously, against Chelsea, there were a few individual errors in there, but I think McAllister wasn't quite fit at that point. And I think he's looking a lot more fit now and a lot more back to his best and looking more like himself. I could say that about Gravenberch as well. I think Gravenberch has been solid this season, but obviously not up to those crazy levels that we saw last season. But definitely saw a bit more of him, that flair on the ball, the way that he likes to drop the shoulder and run. And we've also got, obviously, I think Szoboszlai has been our player of the season so far overall. Always puts in a solid performance. A good 7 out of 10 every single game. And I think he just did really well in this game again. He was everywhere. He was breaking up the play. He was linking up the play at the same time, pressing the back four. And I think the pressing also looked a lot more cohesive and solid as well. I thought Gakpo and Salah put in good shifts in that game as well. And I just think you can't really go wrong when you think, if you're searching for a win, you're searching for some consistency in the team. I don't think you can really go that much wrong, apart from just going with the lineup that you had last season as much as you can. Obviously, we don't have Trent anymore as well, but I think Bradley is a good foil for him, arguably better defensively, if he doesn't have quite that passing range that Alexander-Arnold did have. But obviously, when you look at the rest of the team, obviously Alisson would be playing as well. So really the only player that would be different from last season, because obviously Trent was injured for 2 or 3 months last season as well, so Bradley was playing. The only real player that's been different is Ekitike, who's in there for Núñez, who would probably play there, or maybe Díaz play as the number 9. So I think there was a lot more cohesion in the team in general. I think letting them all play together for a few games to bed themselves in again as well has really helped. And they're looking just a lot more, like I said, cohesive. the link-up play between Gakpo and Salah. They were playing those balls, those balls that we saw so often last season, where Salah gets the ball, he cuts inside, he plays that ball in behind the back four over towards Gakpo, who then has either the chance to shoot or the chance to cut it back. And then Gakpo was also playing that ball as well, which we've not seen at all this season. Just been very out of sorts in terms of the front line as well. I think there's obviously the transition with new players and, getting those link-ups working well. I thought Ekitike looks... I think that the profile of the player that he is, he comes in... I think he can come into a team and just start playing a little bit easier and without, that time that you need to adapt to the team a bit more than maybe a player like Isak does. Isak is a phenomenal player, but he's definitely a different profile to Ekitike. He probably doesn't link the play as much. He's looking for that ball to be given to him so that he can shoot and score in the right positions. I would say in a similar way to Haaland in terms of the way that he wants to be fed the ball in the right areas. Whereas Ekitike, a bit more of a Firmino-esque profile for me, likes to come deep, they play with other people, likes to have a little flick in him. I love those little balls that he plays when he comes in deep and then flicks it round the corner to one of the other forwards and holds the ball up in that manner. He's got like that kind of technicality about him where you can just drop him into that 9 position and he'll do a solid job in there. Obviously also got a goal threat as well. Scored a goal that was offside, sadly. Did he actually score another goal? No, that was Gravenberch, wasn't it? But he definitely looked a threat going forward and also linking the play. A bit more of a traditional, like I said, Liverpool, what we're used to seeing, that false 9 kind of situation that we saw with Firmino for so many years. That was amazing. But overall, I think Liverpool going with this lineup that's very similar to last season, I don't think they can go wrong with that for the next few games at least. Obviously, we brought not a lot of new players in, and I think at the start of the season we were trying to put too many new players into the lineup maybe. When you've got a title-winning team, a lot of people have been saying it, when you've got lots of new exciting players, you probably want to just throw them in straight away, but the reality was, there were clearly some players that were unsettled and the team looked quite unbalanced in many ways. I think Slot trying to play Wirtz in that 10 area doesn't really work for me because he does look a little bit... He's just not got that physicality, that running ability that Szoboszlai has that we really need in that area that makes us so formidable in that midfield area. But I think Wirtz could do a really good job off of that left-hand side. Obviously, Gakpo's playing there and he's playing okay at the minute. Slot obviously really rates him and he keeps playing him, which is fair enough. It's up to the manager, but I feel like Wirtz could do a really good job on that left wing. He'd have a lot less responsibility. And it would be akin to the role that he played at Leverkusen as well, where he was basically playing with a 5 at the back and then he was playing as that was their left-sided midfielder, wasn't he? So he had a lot of cover behind him, but it allowed him that freedom to go in that inside left channel, which he really likes. And if he played left wing for us, he could definitely basically be up on that wing, but he could also come inside in that channel he likes as well. And he can play with Ekitike and Salah or Isak or whoever's going to play. But overall, I think Liverpool really benefited over the past few games, even though we didn't get the results from having that McAllister, Gravenberch, Szoboszlai midfield. I really think that's super, super important. And I don't think you can go wrong in terms of cohesion and getting a bit of a head of steam up again by playing all the players that you played last season. They now have to play with each other. They're all comfortable playing with each other. Although I think the link-ups obviously showed in that Aston Villa game that we clearly had a bit more of that comfortable nature playing with each other. There was a bit more passing cohesion. The ball was being moved a little bit faster on the pitch as well. Overall, it just looked a lot better. And I think you can't really go wrong with playing with that similar lineup again, really. And then slowly introducing the new players in. We bought loads of good new players. Obviously, Wirtz, Isak, Kerkez, just to name a few of the ones that look really, really interesting and exciting for the future. And they'll obviously take a little bit of time to settle in, and then they'll be really good. Just like Robertson did when he first came in, he looked very unsettled. And then once he came into the team after a good period of time, he looked really good. Fabinho was the same. A really amazing player for Liverpool that took a while to settle in. Looked a bit out of sorts initially, but then he grew into the role and he became absolutely undroppable when we were playing with that 4-3-3 formation that we played for so long. And I think it'll take a little bit of a while for these new players to find their way into the team as well. Obviously, some of them struggling for fitness as well. Isak and Frimpong have both been struggling with injuries since the start of the season. So there's a lot to digest and unpack there. But I think managing them and slowly introducing them to the team definitely works. And I think over time, obviously, some players will leave, new players will come in. But I think overall, Liverpool really can benefit from just playing that similar team to last season. And then we'll see how things go against Madrid and Man City this week. This is going to be a big week, isn't it? So, as always, guys, thanks a lot for watching. Please do like and subscribe. Leave a comment down below and let me know your thoughts. And I will see you in the next video. Cheers.